from the campus of Arkansas State University, this is Centennial Reflections.
On to victory, breaking the second to none. Let's make this game history, along with the others in one. The red and black shall ever wave on high for
Welcome to Centennial Reflections, a series of programs that look at the history of Arkansas State University from its beginning as an agricultural school back in 1909 all the way to present-day multi-purpose university status that it is. I'm Rich Carvell. I'm the host for this series. And today we're kind of going to go back to that 1909 beginning in the agriculture origins of Arkansas State. And it's appropriate that we have Lew Brinkley, who's a retired faculty member from the College of Agriculture, with us today to talk about some of those times. Lew, glad to have you here.
Good to be here.
I was looking at Larry Ball and Bill Clement's book, Voices of State, and in it they printed the purpose of the agricultural school back in 1909. Let me read that to you. It was to prepare male students for more productive farming and females for wiser management of the home. Things have changed a little bit.
Yes. Some people say, well, that was a natural. Men work out on the farm and women involved in cooking and so forth. Women in food, and to a certain extent, you know, we still see some of that. We're circling back around to that now. We haven't, by the way, the college does have a new lady, Dr. Sue-Ann Yon, that's teaching in the area of food science. So, but there are many more women students, and the women are involved in all phases of the program now, as opposed to those days when we would say there was a stereotype, sex role bias, or however.
And they're not studying to be homemakers; they're studying to run the farm, right?
Run the farm or food processing facilities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, when Arkansas State started, it was out in the middle of nowhere. There was a lot of land available, and much of that land was used as the laboratory for the ag program. Farms, crops, test plots, and that sort of thing.
Yes, well, I think about it's an anniversary of sorts. 40 years ago, I interviewed from the job here, and ended up coming in the fall of '69. And at that time, we didn't have the stadium drive. There was a big, expansive area, several hundred acres, more rugged, primitive type agriculture, and then they had some, you know, some of it display longhorn, buffalo, little Roman, as you recall. There, over time, they, as the campus needed to grow, agriculture was moved. Well, they built Stadium Boulevard, moved the football stadium, and agriculture moved primarily east of the bypass, and then we're left with some field plots between the tracks. But things did change. We ended up having to get by on fewer acres, but in more modern, more scientific methods, as opposed to big, expansive herds roaming over a lot of land.
Lew, what would you say are the highlights of the progress of the College of Agriculture during your time? You said you came in 1969.
Yes, I think back from '69 to the present, I saw the program go from primarily a general agriculture program with emphasis on agricultural education, with the idea that people would be trained primarily to go back and teach VOAG, the traditional FFA, in high school, which I'm a product of a system like that, and I still really believe in a lot of their leadership programs, and very supportive. But anyway, it evolved from FFA, high school VOAG teaching to a strong program in agricultural business and in pre-veterinary medicine and some other pre-professional programs, more science-based. And of course, one of the big events was when in the early 70s, when George Berger came and started up a soybean research program, and eventually ASU and the University of Arkansas started cooperating more in research and extension.
How important was that cooperation?
Looking back, that's very, very important, because before, if you came to Arkansas State, you could be trained to be a VOAG teacher, but without going someplace to a big land grant school and getting a master's, you would not be hired by the Extension Service. So that was a big deal. We argued for cooperation here, and the people across the state said, yes, we need to cooperate. There doesn't need to be duplication. And it worked. The administrators got together, and basically it was like, we will cooperate in agriculture. We just won't cooperate. We just will not play each other in sports, if you recall. But
ag cooperation, no competition.
Right. And then that led to more research grants. Many people have gone through ASU. And then ended up working for the Extension Service.
Well, that opened up a lot of job opportunities for our graduates.
Yes, it did. And a lot of people ended up working with the Farm Bureau and these other traditional organizations. Then as the institution matured, I think back, the college made a big push, supported the agriculture fraternity, and I'm a member of that, going back to the founding days there. The AGRs started their house. Dr. Langlois, Dr. Irby, Dr. Hales, some of the guys helped them get started, and we have a strong national agricultural fraternity. They have a nice house out on the edge of the campus on Agri Road, and that's been a good thing.
And we'll come back and talk about that a little bit more in just a moment.